Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Thanks for joining us today. Please like, share, comment, and do all the YouTubey things while we get together and spend some time looking over some coins. This time, we're going to look at some error coins and see how fast you can spot an error on this guy because it's very subtle. This is a Walking Liberty half dollar in an old PCI holder. The PCI gold labels actually oftentimes have pretty nice coins in them for what it's worth. Error, clippy. Little clip there. So clippy is actually a thing. This is just a clip. This is a very minor clip. So something that is very, very subtle. It's just the edge of the planchet. Sometimes a clip will have a big bite out of the coin. And oftentimes, for there to be a clip, there is what they call a halo, which is it'll have a small mark on the opposite side of the coin also. So basically, all the way across from where the clip is, so you'll see a mark usually down opposite of it. And on this, it's going to be super minor, and let's see if we can even see anything. You can actually just barely see where the land, just south of where the land hits the rim has a very fine indentation there. It just goes down a little bit. So error values, of course, depend on oftentimes who's watching, because a lot of errors are sold at auctions. There are error experts, of course, but your errors almost always trade based on a combination of the visual appeal of the error. How dramatic is it? The overall rarity of an error. How many of them have occurred or can occur? The series that it's on. So in other words, if somebody's so like on pennies, for example, Lincoln cents, there's a lot of errors out there because they made so many of them. But you can see an error trade on a Lincoln cent, and then you'll see the same thing on an Indian head cent, and the Indian head cent will sell for a whole lot more. What's fun about some errors is you can still just kind of cherry pick stuff. One of my favorite type of errors, you see these a lot on nickels, is called a lamination. A lamination is basically when the metal during the metallurgy portion of the planchet being produced doesn't set right, and so basically it's not mixed properly, so you have pieces of metal that flake up and flake off on the edges of the coin, and sometimes they go all the way across the coin, like on this 1931S Buffalo nickel. So you'll see laminations a lot, especially on the silver war nickels. You see them a lot on Buffalo nickels, V nickels. Nickels have a pretty wide array of annealing problems and laminations. And so they'll also have, nickels are one of the few series where there's actually a propensity to actual split planchets, to where you'll see straight down the center a planchet split in half, so that you will physically have the top half and the back half, the obverse and the reverse will be separated out. And I've had a number of those on V nickels in particular. So something about how the metal flows on how the metal is made in the annealing process that makes that happen. This one I thought was really cool because this is on a pretty fine looking 80S. So high luster coin, really brilliant reverse. This is similar. This looks like a lamination. This is a strike-through error. So a strike-through error happens when you've got a object in front of the strike and between the planchet and the dies, and so when it gets struck, that piece peels up. So it actually has a very similar look to a lamination. In fact, on some pieces like this, it's really hard to really know if it is technically a strike-through or technically a lamination, because as you peel the metal up, so for example, as you peel the metal up on this nickel, you'll see there's still a struck-through area that's just kind of a area with less detail, kind of a blurry area. And so that's kind of what you see on here. So one of the ways to tell that it is not like scratched out or anything is oftentimes, especially on a silver coin like this, it will have that dull look to it. if a coin is like scratched or messed with, it's cutting through the metal. It'll leave a real bright, shiny spot instead of that nice dull look. So that's a really cool little error. And then this guy here, what do we have? 1879 S. This is not an error. This is actually, I just wanted to throw this in here because I had to laugh at this old Woolco label. And stay out of the Woolsworth. $4.97. So I'm intrigued because there's no way this plastic holder cost them $4.97. Were they selling uncirculated silver dollars at this store for $4.97? That's the story of the day, folks. All right, this is one of my favorite errors I've ever owned. This is a double denomination, an 11-cent piece. So this is a struck coin struck over struck coin. So let's just look here at Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, and it's pretty cool to see this on such a modern coin. So this is the year 2000. You can make out the 2000, and of course, if you look this way, you can see the dime. There's Roosevelt. You can make out the same year. You can make out just a touch of that. I'm looking specifically at the date here, so we're going to zoom in and see those, the 200, and actually you can see the ghost of the 0 right below the P there, all for the mint mark. And what a neat piece. What a really neat piece. I am in my mind trying to figure out which one was struck first and which one was struck second. I would, based on the way this is, I would assume that it was struck first as a dime, and then it got into the cent hopper, possibly nefariously. Let's add intrigue and mystery to this. But it's a really cool piece and a super high blazing grade. You know, most of your cent pieces don't look that nice because they're not struck on a dime. So 1 cent, it's kind of cool. It's got the 1 cent here, 1 dime here, kind of all next to each other. 1 cent, then 1 dime. Really neat piece. This piece is pretty expensive. It's about $1,900 on that. So really a rare piece. Value-wise, I mean, these other coins are probably less than a couple $100s for the most part. Maybe we'll just throw a couple of those on eBay on an auction, let people have fun with them. And you know, last but not least, there is one of my favorite types of errors. And this is a technical error, and it's the type of thing that not a lot of people will catch because it's a technical error. But you have to know your world coins to know what you're looking at here, because here you've got this 2 cent piece from the Bahama Islands. One of the things that you may note is that neither of these sides has a date to it, and that could be a clue that something's going on here even if you don't know the coins, because this is what's called a mule. And mules happen often. A mule is when you've got an obverse and a reverse that don't belong together, right? So they are oftentimes not that expensive of a coin for a coin that's going to be from another country other than the US. I find it to be really a fun area to collect. You know, there's things from like the Philippines and stuff that American collectors, US collectors buy, so that drives the market up. But I mean, things like this that are really kind of a neat error, I think they're only a couple $100, somewhere in there, $200 to $300 range, maybe less if you find them at a good deal somewhere. And there's some pretty famous US ones. So one of the ways this happens, we actually have 2 different countries, New Zealand and Bahamas, is because you'll have one facility that's producing coins for both. And so you actually see this with US coins, where there are US coins that are struck on a wrong planchet, so kind of like this diamond penny combo, only it'll be a planchet that's for a foreign country, but it's produced at a U.S. facility, and so you'll see a U.S. coin that's on the wrong planchet. Now, usually you won't see them struck on a struck coin, but the most famous U.S. mule is got to be this, the quarter and dollar combo, which sells for stupid money. Quarter on one side, dollar on another. So there you have a double denomination, kind of like this, but this is a struck double denomination, where this quarter and dollar combo had the two different pairings. So actually the error is more like this one, where you have two different pairings that don't match up. Now that's probably hard to cherry pick, but what you can cherry pick possibly is this dollar combo with the reverse of the presidential dollars. So of course the reverse of this coin should look like the one we were just looking at. This is what the reverse of the Sacagawea dollar should look like. And I'd imagine that you can find a lot of Sacagaweas that nobody has really taken 2 seconds to look at, and we'll have that reverse to it. So just so you know, this coin here sold for like $80,000. So that's a good deal for somebody out there. But instead, you could buy this for less than 300. So if you're looking to buy things that possibly have some potential upside, this entire area of mules from foreign countries may be an area to collect. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.